Welcome back to the Grumpy Old Gamer podcast. This is episode 10, of season 1, and the final episode of the season. I'm Al. I will be your wonderful host, and I'm joined by Shitlord Tim.
Well, there's that 5 minutes gone on YouTube, but yeah, hello, mate.
And Shit Lord Ian as well.
Present and accounted for.
Excellent. So, yeah, this marks quite a milestone for us guys, really. 10 episodes, and I didn't think I'd make it through a single one with Ian.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I figure I'd make it through at least half of one.
Half of one episode or half of one season?
Half of one episode.
Yeah, well, you did right. I mean, I'd like to get through this one without you interrupting me or trying to move me on when I'm not ready to be moved on, or trying to belittle me in any way. Is that fair enough?
Okay, I'll fuck off.
Okay, good. Okay. I just want to set some ground rules before we begin. That's all. So, how this episode is going to work, then, gentlemen, is episode 1, if you remember, and I know some of us are older than others and memory has maybe faded a little bit, but episode 1 was gaming is shit now, right? And in that episode, I think we all kind of reached the same conclusion that gaming was shit compared to the glory days as we remember it from when we were children, or when I was a young adult and you two were children.
Yep.
We've then done episodes on movies going from the big screen to become console games. We absolutely proved that Half-Life 2 is far superior in terms of its importance than GTA. We looked at couch co-op. We looked at FPS games and how they've evolved. We've done quite a lot of stuff. And I think that I can certainly say that I've learned a lot, not necessarily from you two, but I think that in general, I've learned a lot. And the purpose of today is to come together and say, well, let's have a think about what we've looked at over the last 9 episodes, over season 1. Do we still think that gaming is shit? Or are there some redeeming qualities that we've kind of discovered with our involvement in this podcast? I'm going to come to Tim first because he's my favourite.
Thank you. Someone's got bias today.
What do you think, mate?
Both barrels, baby.
Ian, be quiet. All right. I said I'm coming to Tim first. You sit in the corner and shh. Tim, is gaming?
Yes, Daddy.
Is gaming? We're going to fall out if you keep on interrupting me. Is gaming shit? Still?
I mean, I think overall, yes. I think personally, when it comes to the way that gaming is sold and like the manipulation and everything with like, say, Game Pass and like, I mean, I can't lie, I'm using EA Pass Plus and I know you are too, but like in the long term, I think it's manipulative and horrible. Gaming in itself, I think, is still rather unimaginative, apart from a few gems here and there. And, I mean, I remember at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh man, I really want Battlefield 6. And I loved it. It was really good. But I've been playing FIFA more on the EA Game Pass, which I didn't expect. So, with that being said, overall, yes, I think it is still pretty shit, in all honesty.
You think it's shit, but you bought EA Pro Plus or whatever it's called. You bought that to play Battlefield 6, and it gave you access to an entire catalogue of games, and now you're building Not Arsenal with not ladies in your not team. And so, I mean, surely, you couldn't have done that 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
No, you know what, I do agree. But I would have just got the CD and just would have had it type thing. It feels like because of those kind of like prices that you have to pay monthly, I'm not sure it's just me, but I feel like some of the base games now, they've gone up in price, whereas what you would have paid for around about that time, like say 20 years ago, would have been the premium editions, which are now like 100 quid, 120 quid, and it's like...
Okay, I mean, not to be cynical, but maybe and I'll ask Ian for his opinion because he's certainly the more intelligent of the pair of you. Maybe the reason why there's a price increase is to push people towards the streaming services.
Oh, 100%. Can I
I
just
said I was
finish
coming
what
to
I was
Ian.
saying?
No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You've had your
I
turn
have
to
a
speak.
finishing point.
You've had your turn to speak. I'm coming to Ian now.
We've had first point, but what about second point?
Good one.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely going pushing people to join the streaming. I think they're trying to explore as many of different ways as they can to monetize the products that's coming out with. You know, figuring out, does live service work? Is that something that people will pay for? Is how much time and polish do we need to put into games in order to have a passable release, or without getting completely torched as having a broken release, like Monster Hunter Wilds or whatever.
Mhm.
And I think just in general, just like that's just I think that the industry is learning and getting experience, and it's learning from its mistakes, and it's repeating some of it mistakes some of the times unavoidably. But I think overall we're moving forward and evolving in a good fashion.
I do agree with that. Like the way I use, like, say, Game Pass or like EA passes. Essentially, it's a 15. It's like buying like a demo, like PC Gamer, like £10, and you get like the demo disc for the month type thing. I kind of assume like I will test that game for a month. And if I want it, I'll buy it. If I don't, I don't. That's kind of like how I use it. But I know some people forget about it, and that's where their money is just comes in. Like people just forget that they're still subscribed.
Okay, I guess what I'm trying to get at is this: is that we said that we dislike all of these new predatory practices, and yet, as you just pointed out, Tim, you and I are both paying for EA, the devil, only one step above fuck Ubisoft.
Yep.
We are both lining EA's pockets and therefore Saudi Arabian princes' pockets by extension. When
No, yeah.
not so long ago, we were saying how terrible this process was. So, are we hypocrites?
I would say yes and no, because I even admitted I admitted like in the first episode, in fact, actually, that I brought Game Pass for like a month to like maybe try out like the new Call of Duty, which is kind of hypocritical. But then I always remember to like cancel it type thing. So yeah, it's kind of hypocritical, kind of ironic, really. But as I said, I think of it as like a 30-day like free demo essentially. But it's people who rely on it when they could, like, after 3 months, probably just afford to buy the damn game that they were using it for to begin with,
Ian, are we hypocrites?
Mm.
Is it cool to hate things, and are we really just slaves to the behemoth, which is capitalism and commercialism?
I think a little bit, if you want to get all philosophical about it. But I mean, it just there are things that they're doing that makes us not like them. But I mean, as far as I know, they're not actively sacrificing children to the devil. And but I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. But at this point, they're releasing video games and they're doing damage with that, but only as much damage as you can by releasing a video game. So I guess EA's there's some good to it. I'm not saying that they're a good company. They have a lot of predatory practices. Then they've shut down a lot of good studios for no reasons, among many other
Agreed.
slights. But almost got me going off on a tangent there, going off about
No,
EA.
please
Tangent
do.
away. Yeah.
Please, yeah.
Oh, you're the ones who have the real pent up emotions about EA, because you said that EA is just a little bit above Ubisoft. What's the distinction there? What makes one better or worse?
Because the grumpy old gamer slogan is "fuck Ubisoft."
Yeah.
Oh,
And again, this is kind of my point. Is it cool to hate Ubisoft? Is it cool to hate EA? Is it cool for us to hate these large companies? And if so, what are the reasons why we hate them? And do we really hate them? Because Tim and I are paying for a monthly subscription to EA games. So do we really hate them, or are we just kind of being a bit, are we sellouts?
How about this? I do not like EA as a publisher, and obviously we can't stand Ubisoft as a publisher.
Fuck Ubisoft.
Yeah, fuck Ubisoft. It's not the developers' fault that they are under EA. As a publisher, yeah, they can go fuck themselves. But I'd say as DICE, like with Battlefield as an example, I think they're a damn good company. They're just under EA, you know?
Well, they didn't have to sign with EA, did they?
They've always been with EA. Like, even since 1942, I think. It's always been an EA game.
So they are owned by EA?
I think so. I mean,
so they are EA?
Well, they're a developer for EA, yes.
So, I mean, I guess I just don't see the distinction. If you are an internal developer or an internal game studio under EA's umbrella, and you cannot do anything other than develop games for EA, then you are part of what we claim to hate, and yet secretly or not so secretly pay to support. It's just a bit fucking weird, really, isn't it, for us to say that it's shit and then support it?
I agree. It's going back to what I was saying about the developers. I wouldn't say it's their fault. But when you have, like, I mean, going back to like the other episode, like E3 is no longer a thing, and it's the people who are up on the stage who are like the big like the directors and people like that who have no idea about gaming and stuff like that, and it's like, oh, just stop it, you corporate shills. But technically, we are paying them, as it were. I just kind of feel bad for like the small little guy, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. So it was in the news recently about City Skylines. You know, I think I know you've played it, Tim. Have you played that one, Ian? Or are you not into high quality games? You just like
I haven't.
Games about digging holes and shit like that. Yeah, is that it's
simple, easy to remember,
and so are the games. So. There was there was something posted, some news posted recently about Colossal Order, the company, the developer who made Cities Skylines, and then made Cities Skylines 2, and they made this game for the publisher is Paradox. Yeah. So recently, and I read this, and I was like, I was cringing reading this. It's like they've reached a mutual decision that Colossal Order have ended their involvement with Cities Skylines 2. Right? It wasn't mutual. They've been forced out. Yeah, they've been forced out, and they've been replaced by Ice Flake Studios, I think, or I think that might be them, Ice Flake Studios, who are yeah, precisely. I think they made a fishing game and a pool game, right? And they've now been given Cities Skylines 2 by Paradox. You think, oh, okay, fair enough. They've taken it from one, because Paradox, of course, own the license. They've taken it from one developer, the one who made the incredible first game and made the second game with lots of publisher pressure to make sure the game came out at a certain time. So it was a bit crap when it came out, right? Yeah. So Paradox have, on the surface, they've taken it from one publisher and they've given it something from one developer and they've given it to another. When you dig deeper, Ice Flake Studios is wholly owned by Paradox. So they've taken the game from an independent studio and given it to their own studio. And this is, when we talk about monopolies and these huge conglomerates who control all these major development studios, this is a perfect example of that, because they're cutting out independent studios and keeping everything in house. And this is why I'm a huge supporter and proponent of indie games, because I think that that's the future, because everything else is just tied to decision makers who care more about the bottom line than they do about the quality of their product and the quality of their communities.
This is actually a really good point. Because as I admit, I've been playing a lot of FIFA. Who makes FIFA? Like, what studio makes that? Is it just EA in general? You know, like I
so.
can't think of a studio name. Whereas when I think of
so.
Battlefield, I think of DICE. You know, that's the developer. So yeah, it's unfortunate for City Skylines. As you've rightly said, the launch of the second one was a bit of a poo-poo show, to put it bluntly, because it was forced out because of shareholding and like, hey, we need it done by then, and then that's when you get like awful releases, and no matter how much you fix a game, unless you're Cyberpunk, everybody remembers the awful launch, you know.
Yeah. So the FIFA games, or they're now called EA Sports FC now, aren't they? Because
they lost the license.
They lost the license, which is it's quite an interesting story about how they lost the license. But so EA Sports FC it's developed by two studios, EA Vancouver and EA Romania, and then published by EA Sports. So it's wholly owned by Electronic Arts. There's no independence there. So and that takes me back to the point that we were kind of aiming towards when we started this. You know, we said that we hate this kind of thing. We said that we hate these the fact that Xbox and PlayStation and EA and Paradox or whoever else it might be owns so much of gaming, and it limits choice and it limits consumers. Do we really, or is it just cool? Are we just being edgy? You know, hey, we're grumpy old gamers. We have to hate everything, but really we don't, because we're just a bit pathetic.
I think it's literally a bit of column A and column B. We hate the idea of them, but at the same time, they make our games, you know?
I mean, we're still going to play the games and we're going to be complaining the entire time, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're still playing the game.
Yes.
So we're hypocrites then, right?
It does seem very hypocritical if you put it that way, yes.
It does, doesn't it? It does, doesn't it? And this is what I mean. We said that it was shit. We said that gaming is shit now, right? Because of this kind of thing. And then here we are embracing it. So is it really shit, or is gaming actually really good?
Well, in my defense, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of different options, you know, other than just, you know, especially with like EA, if they have whatever their subscription model thing is, like there's a couple of different ways you can do it, but there's not an unlimited number, I think.
Yeah, there's like, you get EA Plus and you get EA Plus Pro or whatever, and that's the one where like whenever the game comes out on launch, you can get it then type thing. Which actually puts it into another category, because I'm on Pro at the moment, so I'm not sure what that says. But then you go through it, and you're like, oh, actually, I'd want to play that game. Like, you know me, I love Formula 1. The latest Formula 1's out on it, and it's like, huh, I might play that, you know? It gives you a weird option, but the idea of it, I dislike.
Okay.
But yeah.
Right, Tim. So Tim, another question for you then. Okay. Is Battlefield 6 a live service game?
Not as much as, say, Call of Duty is, but it is treading on that, yes. I mean, just as much as, say, 2042 was, you know?
Does it have monetization? So there's like season passes and all that kind of stuff, isn't there?
Oh, yes, okay, fine.
Yeah.
See, it is a live service game, yeah.
So it's a live service game. And we were deeply cynical about live service games. We said that we think that it's terrible, it's cash grabs, it's whore behavior. And then that's the game which caused you, and me as well. That's the game that caused me as well. So I'm not singling you out here.
I know.
That's the game that made us both give EA our money.
Yep.
So another thing where we said live service is terrible, and then here we are playing a live service game.
Okay.
I mean, you guys are. I'm not.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't talking to you there, was I? So
that is a completely valid point. But
Ian, you'll know when I'm talking to you. All right, you'll know when I'm talking to you. Okay.
With that being said, there's a bit of a silver lining with this one. yes, it is a live service game, but you don't need to buy the Battle Pass or the Season Pass. You don't need to. It's like it is there, but you don't need to, do you? It's just skins at the end of the day.
Isn't that? Well, no, it isn't. It isn't just skins, is it? I think that the season pass is going to give you access to more than just skins, isn't it?
No, they said they're going to be releasing expansions as actually expansions.
Which you have to pay for.
Yeah, but you had to do that with, like, I don't know, Battlefield 2. What's the difference?
Well, nothing. I never said there was a difference. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. No, I was getting very defensive there.
Hey, very defensive. I mean, fucking hell. You know what I mean? I expect it from Ian, mate, but don't you?
No.
Okay,
Okay, well,
well,
I don't take that back. But like the season pass, like especially with like games like Battlefield or like a lot of FPSs, they do have them. I know, like with the Battlefield one, it's all kind of like cosmetics and stuff like that. Or maybe like a token for like extra XP, which I guess you could say is essentially getting you're paying to do less, essentially. But yeah, no, I think they've been pretty flat out with saying like, hey, we're actually going to release expansion packs, not like stuff like that. But there is a season pass, and yeah, people have got funny about it, but it's a trend I don't like, I will admit. But what FPS doesn't have a season pass these days, you know?
I don't know. I don't often play FPS games.
Counter-Strike 2, but then also it costs like half $1,000,000 to buy a sniper rifle skin.
He did say these days. I mean, when did Counter-Strike 2 come out?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, because I was going to say Half-Life 2, but I thought that's just taking the piss because it came out God knows how many years ago, and it is still the greatest game of all time. Let's not forget that.
It is.
Okay, Ian, I will come to you now because you seem intent on wading in when your opinion isn't wanted.
No, I don't want to.
So one of the things we talked about was this shift towards like digital only. You know, I mean, I don't have a disk drive on my PC, and we all said about how we use Steam and how Steam monopolizes the PC market, and we weren't overly critical of Steam, I think, because we use it so much. But we were a bit bothered about this whole always online DRM business that came into play many years ago, and we didn't really like that. But you will have seen the Stop Killing Games initiative.
I haven't heard anything about that in a while.
Okay, well, it's still going. However, it is.
Yeah.
However, it is an EU initiative, and it's passed the required signatures to be taken to the European Parliament and be voted into law, which would mean that publishers and developers were required by law to ensure that once somebody owns a game, they will always have access to that game. So they can't shut down servers, or they at least need to make sure that there is an offline version of those games. And I appreciate this is an EU law, okay? So you might think sat over there in your ivory USA tower that it doesn't affect you, but what tends to happen, and it happened with Valve with their refunds policy, that came from the EU as well, and the US benefits. You know, so everybody benefits when the EU makes these laws, and that is one thing which never happened before. So that's a good thing about modern gaming, isn't it?
Quickly, and Ian, you'll get your point, but also because of EU law, like loot boxes, there was a massive thing like EU law with that as well, and that kind of got like boom after that. But yeah, Ian, all yours, mate.
I think they got away from the physical drive. I think they're trying to do like the old saying, "You will own nothing and be happy." But if that, stop killing games. If that benefits us here in the States, then I'm all for it. That's great. That's amazing.
I mean, I think one of the things that you said in God knows which episode it was, you said, if I want to play a game on my PS2, I put the game in, I press play, and it works straight away.
Yeah,
and that was your complaint about the online services and all this DRM stuff, you know?
Yes, but I mean, to be fair, I also got the PlayStation 5 that didn't even have the disc drive, and I haven't bought a hard physical copy of a game in I don't know how many years.
Hmm.
But as
Hmm.
long as I have that in my library and I'm comfortable that I'm still going to have access to it, you know, then I'm happy with that.
Well, interestingly, I think it was Fuck Ubisoft, one of their CEOs, who said players should get used to the fact that they do not own their games. They get given a license to play them, but they do not own them. And the Stop Killing Games initiative uh, is a direct challenge to that, or rather, Ubisoft's response was a challenge to Stop Killing Games. I can't remember which way around it went. But you've now got a situation where these major publishers are rallying against consumers.
Just got a message from a certain lovely person. Apparently, in France, you can't even open cases without knowing what they have inside anymore because of laws like that.
Right?
I didn't know that. Like that's maybe that
So
was
loot
like the
boxes
latest
are out there.
update because I know like the market crashed for Counter-Strike, but no, I was just saying to what I was continuing what I was saying earlier. Like that's interesting.
When you say cases, do you mean like the jewel box with the DVD, or do you mean in-game?
Oh no, the cases for like guns and stuff like that. Sorry, so like the loot boxes essentially.
Right. Okay.
But kind of defeats the point at that point when you just want to buy the damn thing.
Maybe that's something to do with like anti-gambling laws, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's quite possibly that's because I know that there's like in Portugal. So a little bit of an offshoot here. My mum, she's 71, bless her. She's retired, and they were playing bingo, and the police were called, and they were forced to stop playing bingo.
Oh, bingo.
Bingo, yeah. So there's lots of issues around gambling and that kind of stuff. So maybe that's the reason why. It's certainly possible. And is that a good thing?
I think it is personally. Like if I want a skin, I'll just. And I'm not really one for buying like cosmetics or aesthetics in the game, but if I want it, I want to have it. I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want some random chance of it potentially happening because it never happens at that rate, does it?
Does not.
Yeah, and there's always the opportunity there for some kid to get a hold of the controller or the phone or whatever and just racking up like thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
I agree. I mean, I'm not sure what it's like in consoles. I haven't used one for about 10, 15 years now. I know on PC it's a lot harder to actually have to prove that, but yeah, I've heard nightmare stories about that, especially with like phones and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on then, gentlemen. Okay, there was another thing that we talked about, which was broken launches. So games which are released in shit states, they are broken, buggy messes. And I think that we all agree, and I still maintain that I hate this, that games are put out and they're not fit to be released. I think we can all agree that that's a terrible practice.
100%.
And it never happened before. Because you couldn't get. I mean, imagine having a PlayStation 2 and having to get a day one patch because they knew that the game that they'd released was shit. You'd be like, "Well, I'm on dial-up. It's going to take me 47 years to be able to download the patch for this game."
Onto like what would be like quite a good like memory card was like 16 megabytes or some shit like that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Back in those days, the patches were huge, and they called them expansion packs, and that's the way we liked it.
Yeah, and I guess they use the expansion pack as an opportunity to backdoor fixes to bugs and things like that. So games, and this is one of the things we said, games were better back then because they released and they worked typically, or if there was a bug, you kind of accepted it as part of the game because you didn't have the ability to patch a PlayStation game or whatever. If you bought a PS2 game, that's what you got. You couldn't patch it.
That is true, but I think I have to challenge you a little bit in that early access isn't always a bad thing. Because I mean, if a major corporation, I think this is what we decreed back in whatever episode that was, but think we said that if it's a AAA studio, they should not be using early access. But if it's an indie developing studio, early access could be a crucial way of developing the game and getting feedback and keeping the studio up and running so they can actually finish the game.
But we weren't talking about early access. I didn't mention early access.
Right, we're talking about how
Broken
games
launches.
are released all buggy.
We're talking about, but thank you for stealing my thunder, because that was what I was going to say.
I had a feeling that might be the case.
So thank you for completely ruining my what I thought was a wonderfully
Always a
settled
pleasure.
point. I mean, let's fuck it. Do you
I
know
love
what?
ruining.
I quit. I'm not coming back for season 2. All right.
Oh no!
Fuck you guys. Don't you all know me? I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. This is it. I finished. After this episode,
Yeah.
I'm done. Okay. What I was going to
We'll
get.
see about that.
Shut up, you. What I was going to get at is that we don't like these broken, buggy messes being launched, and we said that we weren't massively happy with early access. But as Ian rightly points out, is early access an opportunity for us to avoid this situation where we have broken games being released?
I think early access, this is just reiterating what we said beforehand, but like for indie studios, yes. I think with AAA companies, I think it's lazy and it's an excuse to release like a broken game, essentially. That I do not like.
Yes. However, if they do release a broken game, then if it's in early access, we're much more forgiving when it comes to them saying, well, actually, we need to fix this, we need to fix that.
Yeah, if it's a 1.0, you better have your shit together.
How
How
many
about this
games
as well?
stay?
Yeah, sorry, mate. But like, generally when it comes to early access, you don't expect to be paying like full price. If you're paying full price for an early access, I think that's also a bit of a red flag, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting the full game, so why should you pay full price?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or is that just incentive for them to charge an extra $20 for it once they hit a certain development milestone?
At least they're doing so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad just that the whole thing's happening.
I think with that in mind, I think I know me and Al, I think we used, or at least I did, use Manor Lords as a great example of like how to do early access correctly. You know, absolutely fantastic game, and it doesn't feel like it's in early access. But you know what? It's also not £60, so fair play.
But you don't consider that a major studio? That's still pretty indie.
No,
it's
it's
very
made by
indie.
one guy.
Oh wow! Okay, I did not know
It's
that.
a solo dev, yeah. Slavic Magic is the developer. But
Yeah, that's him.
It's one man. It's one man. So okay, so I guess what I'm getting at is that as much as we said that you had these broken, buggy messes and we don't like them, and we said that that's more of a modern thing because games used to be released in a playable state. They weren't always, and there was inevitably, no matter how much playtesting you do, once you release a game and 1 million people play it, they're going to find bugs. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And back then, when we said everything was wonderful, there was no way to fix those bugs. These days, there are ways to fix those bugs, and it's called a patch. And even on a console, you can patch that game. So is that not a benefit of gaming now? Is gaming really shit if you can fix these problems that you never could before?
Yes and no. Because I think with that, like, you're completely right. It can be fixed. I do think, once again, like, fuck Ubisoft and fuck EA, all that bollocks. But because of, like, people up top trying to get the games out when they say it's going to get out, unless it's absolutely perfect, it's inevitably going to have a day one patch, and it just becomes more of a nuisance, if that, however silly that sounds, you know? Because they're trying to get, for certain bits, right there, done.
I think a day one patch isn't a terrible idea, but I think it gets abused because that is a lot of the, we'll fix in the day one patch, or we'll fix in like the week one patch or whatever. And I think a lot of developers and the major developers tend to just kind of abuse that a little bit.
I think
It feels like an
terrible idea.
excuse.
I absolutely, I do think I think it is a terrible idea. Well, it's not a terrible idea because it's. I just think it's a terrible practice, especially for
Mm.
console gamers.
Mhm.
Especially if I had an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5 with the disc drive, and I buy a game, I want to be able to put it in and press play and play the game now. Not
Exactly.
okay. I put it in updating. I'm like, what are you updating? I've just bought the game. Let me play. And I think it's absolutely it's a travesty that we're in a situation where we accept that.
I think it's just the inevitability of it. I mean, what other way can we do it?
Release it.
Release it
Release it
finished.
release it in a state where it's playable. Off the bat.
The worst I've heard about this. I'm not sure if I've brought it up in other episodes, but like I like fighting games, like say Tekken and Soul Calibur and stuff like that. But like apparently, the latest Street Fighter, and this has been going on for a while. On the like physical copy of the disc, had the DLC on it, but you had to go and buy the DLC to then upload it from the physical disc that you already had. Like that's next level taking the piss, you know?
So you're almost just like
That's fucked.
you're almost just like paying to unlock something that you've already paid for.
Yes.
Awesome predatory practice.
Yeah, well done, Capcom. I think it is.
But it's not all. I guess. Okay, Ian, Tim. I think it's fair to say I'm the grumpiest person here. I think that it's. I think that.
Oh, by a mile.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. And even I can. Are you laughing at me?
I would never.
We're going to
Sir.
fall out. Again.
Hey, great game.
This time I mean it.
So even as the grumpiest old bastard here, I can see the benefits, I can see the positives of modern gaming.
Oh, for sure.
And I think there's so many things that we've kind of dismissed as it's terrible, which are actually there's actually real positives. And one that I think that it is really important to bring up is when we did the episode about console exclusivity, whichever episode that was, I can't remember because I'm old. And I think it was like the death of the console and
Yeah.
So we're now in a situation where Microsoft just released their games on everything now. And I think PlayStation have made many of their exclusives available to their competitors. I think there's only Nintendo. Fuck Nintendo. There's only Nintendo that are kind of keeping their stuff siloed, isn't there? Really, with the Switch or whatever. But the two major ones, Microsoft and Sony, are going cross-platform, and they're releasing their exclusive games on their competitors' machines. And is that not something which we should celebrate? That accessibility, that if Ian's got an Xbox and Tim's got a PlayStation and you both own Space Marine 2, you can play it together. And I've got a PC and all three of us can play it together across 3 different platforms. That never would have happened 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Never would have happened. Maybe even 2 years ago, never would have happened. Is that not something that we should celebrate about modern gaming and say that modern gaming is actually really, really good now?
I mean, that is a valid point. It's a lot easier to hate than appreciate.
It is.
But yeah, crossplay like these days. I mean, yeah, like I hate using Call of Duty as an example, but like Call of Duty has had that for quite a while, and you know what? It is kind of cool. Like if one of my mates, he's on the Xbox or something because he's like, I don't know, doesn't want to like to be a man and like get a PC. Like, I can just give him a message, and it'll go through the Activision thing, and, ping, hey, you want a game? Yeah, ping, done, straight into a server. It's kind of cool. It is kind of cool. And yeah, you're right, that would have never happened probably, like, say, 10, 15 years ago, because everyone was trying to be like, no, use our service, use our service, use our service, And, I mean, honestly, I've never really had to run into that, because been PC for around about that time, and but the idea's there and the potential's there. So negatives all aside, with like the big publishers and shit, that is kind of cool. Would never imagine that, you know.
Mm-hmm. And even if you both had the same title, so say we mentioned Space Marine 2. So even if you had Space Marine 2 on your Xbox and Ian had Space Marine 2 on his PlayStation, you couldn't play together.
No,
You
because they were locked down to the network. It was like PSN and Xbox Live, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now you can. So I think that there are some major positives for modern gaming, and maybe that's the reason why, gentlemen, that at the salty old age that we are, we're still gamers. Because would we still be playing video games as a hobby if gaming was shit?
Well, the thing is, just to finish your point. In fact, it's in agreement. It's so much more of ease of access, you know, for everyone. Like fuck it. Me playing like FIFA currently, I play with console wankers all the time, but I would never have been able to do that, say, 10 years ago.
And so, as we draw towards the end of this episode, and as we draw towards the end of this season, and we, virtually wipe the tears from our faces as we say goodbye to what has been I've really enjoyed this. I'll be honest with you. It's been really nice to be a grumpy fuck and be able to and to be able to, I don't know, luxuriate in the fact that I'm a grumpy old gamer. I've really enjoyed that. I'm going to come to Tim, and it's not a yes or no question. Okay. In episode 1, we asked the question: gaming is shit now, right? I'm asking you again.
Yep. It's not a yes or no question. Oh, you bugger. I stand by. I don't like what the higher ups do, but I have been enjoying the games that have been coming out this year. I really have been, more than like most years that stand out. So, in its current form, I would say it's better than how it was in like 2020. Personally,
I think there's plenty of positives. I think, if you look at it, we've never had as many games to play as we do right now. And we've never had as many different ways where we can play with different crossplay. Even the way that we play the game, we've had so much customization. You can change the difficulty, you can change, all the different features of it, so you can play your way, and you can, play and relax the way that you want to relax, play the way that you want to play.
exactly, and that's actually a really perfect way of putting it. And the first thing that popped to mind as soon as you were saying that, and I think we can all agree on it, is like it's proper like first world issues. Like, we've got too much to play, and it's like, oh no, why aren't they releasing more games like this? It's like, we have so many games. I look at my Steam library, I've got 700 games. You look at my Epic, I've paid nothing, absolutely nothing on Epic. Probably about 500 games, and it's like, oh no, what, those wankers? It's like, nah, we've kind of got it easy, in all honesty,
So you're saying that it isn't shit, really, after all?
I say no. I stand by what I said. I think the higher ups are a bunch of like shit cunts. In all honesty, excuse French, we can bleep it out. I think they're wankers. But when it comes to like absolute ease of access, especially on the computer, we've got it pretty easy these days.
Mm-hmm.
Ian?
Overall, I think that we're in the positive. I think there's some shitty practices that are seen throughout the industry, that we talked about. But I think there's also, like we also talked about, all these really good things like the cross-platform and lots of inner cooperation, and companies actually making products to be better, so that the consumer, us, has a better time playing it and better interaction with it, which I think is a great thing.
Yeah, I remember like But just a premise. I did own all of the GameCube games, but I remember back in the day, I had I think it was Dolphin Emulator, and I remember like telling my mate Tom, like, hey, I'm on my PC using a 360 pad playing a GameCube game. That was mind blowing. Now it's kind of like the norm, like when it comes to that kind of stuff. So overall, positive. There's some really bad underliers, no doubt. But overall, yeah, I hate saying it. I think we might be in the positive.
Okay, so we have a situation where, as consumers, we have more choice. As consumers, we have more opportunities to play the way that we wish to play, and as consumers, we have more protections as well. So, with all those three major positives of gaming in 2025 and onwards into 2026, can we forgive the things that we've kind of complained about over the last 20 weeks? Can we say, well, we said we didn't like that, but we can accept it. We can accept microtransactions. We can accept live service. We can accept day one patches because the benefits far outweigh the negatives here.
I think that's actually a perfect way of putting it. Yes. We've all got beast internet now. And you know what? Unless you're taking the piss, the microtransactions and like season passes and stuff like that, you don't have to buy them. But they are just the norm now, unfortunately, you know? But overall, yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so there you have it. The grumpy old gamer, or the grumpy old gamers. We couldn't use grumpy old gamers because it was taken by some other bad podcast. So we are the grumpy old gamer. After 20 episodes, we've reached the conclusion that gaming isn't actually shit, and we were lying to you 20 weeks ago. So if you have enjoyed listening to these episodes, and I sure have enjoyed recording them, and I've enjoyed the company of Tim, and I've enjoyed the company of Ian as well, as much as I take
It's
the piss.
been lovely, lads.
I think that it's been. I don't want to get all emotional, but
Come on,
it's
get
been
all
an
soft,
absolute.
come on.
No, I really appreciate the time that you've put into this, and I really appreciate your thoughts and the your enthusiasm for the subjects when we talk about them. So thank you very much for this idea that I had of starting a podcast. Thanks very much for embracing it and being as fucking awesome as you've both been. So thank you very much.
Been an absolute pleasure, my friend.
Does this mean that you're going to pay me back that $5 you owe me?
No.
No, that's gone now.
This has been the Grumpy Old Gamer podcast, and this is the end of season 1, and we will be back in 6 weeks for the start of season 2, which should be interesting. If you would like to find out more about Grumpy Old Gamer, if you go to gog.fm, our website, until Good Old Games comes and takes it off us. gog.fm is our main website. You go there, you find out all the ways to get in touch, all of our social media that we don't use because we don't like it, but access to our Discord and show notes about our episodes and bits and pieces about us. If you want to know more, gog.fm is the place to go. Thank you very much for listening, all 10 of you, or however many it might be. We will be back in 6 weeks, bigger and better than ever. Thanks very much, and that is the end of season 1.
Clap, 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 clap.
Cheers.
I want this to end, so okay. I know we said end of the season, but who gives a shit? Have you played Black Ops 7?
Oh. No.
What
but
a dumpster fire.
I've been paying attention to it, mate. it looks it. They've found a way to make it look and play, and this is I have been watching like some of the YouTubers, and they've made a way to make it look and play worse than Black Ops 6. And the campaign looks like a complete travesty, and it fell into that category of which I knew Call of Duty would do. Of like, oh look at us, we're a military simulator, but like, oh yeah, no, like I don't know, Beyonce now is playing in the game or some shit like that, and it's like they did that within the first week or something. It wasn't Beyonce, but like the equivalent of like something ridiculously out of character, and I was like, I told you so. And there were so many people like beforehand essentially saying, oh no, Black Ops 7 is going to absolutely destroy like Battlefield. And then Arc Raiders came out as well. And I think Black Ops 7 was like the lowest rated launch of like Call of Duty on Steam. I think they only got to like 80,000 like concurrent players, which is pathetic. So I think a lot of people agree that doesn't look very good.
Well, many people agree it doesn't look very good because it is mostly negative on Steam.
Is it really?
Mostly negative, and that must be absolutely. I do think that as much as we rag on companies and say that we don't like big business and all this kind of stuff, it must be devastating if you're a developer and you come out and people just hate your game. It must just be.
Oh yeah, it must be soul destroying.
Yeah. It can't be very easy to not take that kind of rejection personally. Because the amount of work and money and effort and blood, sweat and tears that's gone into making something, and you release it thinking this is going to be excellent, and it just gets trashed. It must be absolutely devastating.
I mean, I don't want to go down dark alley, so I'll word this as politely as possible. There's been some very dark stories of devs who have had that kind of issue, you know. I'll leave it at that. And understandably so. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Hmm.
But yeah, with all that said and done, the new Call of Duty looks absolutely shit, mate.
This is absolutely shit, and I think it was one of those situations where you had Battlefield 6 coming out, you had Call of Duty 7 coming out, and I guess we were all thinking this is going to be the battle for the ages. This is going to be the way that 2025 earns with the battle between these two enormous titles, and there is a clear winner, and it's EA's game.
It is EA's.
6.
Now, like,
have you
what's
played
the lesser of two evils, Activision or EA?
It's a fair question. Ian, have you played Battlefield 6, Ian?
I have not.
Are you planning to?
Maybe one day. I don't know.
Are you going to buy a Gabe Cube and play it on that?
So you're talking about the new Steam console system, I guess, that they just announced.
Yeah. The Steam machine, whatever it's called.
Yeah. 2.0.
The Gabe Cube. Yeah. But from my understanding, it's actually not as powerful as a normal PlayStation 5. I don't know if anyone else can confirm or deny
I
that.
did look into the specs, but it's also like well over half the price. And it's mainly just for streaming, essentially.
Did they name a price for it?
I think it had like 16 gigs of RAM. I think it was the equivalent of like a 4060 and like an Intel chip. And
it's not for streaming. It's not. It's not like the Steam Link. It's not like what they had before, where it just allowed you to stream your games from your gaming machine to the link, which then play it on the main TV. It is actually a PC. It is actually a proper games console.
Well, my point was going to be like it's like half the price, but it does pack a punch, essentially.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing. I mean, Steam really needs to get into the console market because, I mean, my God, they will dominate.
They will dominate.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about getting a console, and I mean, I have an Xbox Series S. Hooked up to the TV downstairs. I lie, it's not hooked up. It's sat under the TV. It's not been plugged in. I think I've used it once. But I would like to be able to move my gaming habit into a more social environment. So, rather than upstairs in the office, downstairs on the big TV, and get my kids involved. And I'm thinking, why do I want to buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X and have to go through the rigmarole of buying all these games when I can just get a console, which will give me full access to my entire Steam library, which I've spent the last God knows how many years investing in.
You've just said, taking the words out of my mouth. Like,
I apologize.
No, it's fine, mate, because like you get this, and you've got your Steam library, and I know it's like an open OS as well. So going back to what we were saying earlier, you could probably use your EA thing on it as well. It's a computer, but for downstairs, and that's kind of neat. I'll give it that.
Yeah. It is just like a PC, but I think this is quite interesting, really, and we'll cover this in season 2, I'd imagine, at some point, because I think that Steam needs to be revisited, because I know we talked about Half-Life 3 a lot, and we said, and I think I said they're never going to make Half-Life 3 because it's not in their interest to do so, because it will cost too much to develop, and you can't guarantee success. Look at Black Ops 7, mostly negative. You can't please all the people all the time, so there's a huge risk. There's a huge financial risk for Valve. So they are now.
Valve don't need to anymore, though, do they, mate?
No, they don't. And this is what we said. When GTA 6 launches, they'll get 30% of every PC sale of GTA 6, because 95% of them will be through Steam. So they're gonna make billions off the back of Rockstar so they don't actually have to make games anymore. And I think it's really clever. It's really clever of Steam to be introducing, because they've got the Steam Deck, which I think is the most superior handheld.
It's the pinnacle
gaming console. Yeah, the recent a new controller, and everyone says that it's awesome. Like, you don't have to use your Xbox controller; you get an actual Steam controller, which will be optimized to work with your Steam games. Did you see this Steam Lens, or whatever it's called? I forget what it's called, which is like a VR headset, but it's not just for VR. You can use it to play your ordinary games as well. And it's just like imagine it's just like a monitor which fills your vision, and then this console / PC hybrid thing, which is going to be a PC in your living room.
Yeah, but that the Steam VR, remember ages ago, Xbox were trying to release something like that. It was in combination with the Kinect. It was it was like AR, so you could visualize everything in real time in your room type thing. Man, if Valve does that, and yeah, I've also heard really good things about the controller. I mean, it's just a hybrid of an Xbox and a PlayStation. It's what's not to like? Because the original Steam controller, was awful. Was it? It was awful. Yeah, because it had it kind of had a mouse pad instead of a D-pad, so you could play RTSs on your TV, which was it felt really weird. I didn't like it, but
it was ugly too.
Yeah, I mean, what's to stop them? They're getting all the Xbox games, they're getting all the PlayStation games, and then you just have it all on your library downstairs in a Steam computer. They're the powerhouse, and I think they have been for a while. But what I love about it is it's probably one of those ones where Gabe just turns around, and hey, you know what? Actually, Nintendo's taking over the handheld. We should do something about that, and they did. The consoles are doing this. Okay, we should do something about that. And I don't know, Valve in general, good for them.
The future's bright. The future is Valve.
It's not orange anymore, mate.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
It's been a pleasure doing the whole season with you, gentlemen, and looking forward to coming back for season 2 if I'm not fired.
Don't worry, mate. You won't be fired. No, it has been a pleasure, gents. We've had lots of shits and giggles, to put it bluntly, and there's going to be a lot more coming up soon. So I look forward to it.
There is. Thanks very much.